Welcome to episode 54 of the Next Step podcast, where you get a chance to meet people at the point who sit next to you and you see coming up and down the aisles on Sundays, people that are taking their next step in their journey with Christ. And today we have a very special guest who's been with us a long time. This is Kathy BOSWELL. Welcome, Kathy.
Thank you. I was excited to get here.
I'm glad you did too. So when did you guys first come? Was it like 2007, 8, 9 in the Y?
Yeah, it was the Y when we were stacking chairs and, having to be careful that we didn't tear the paper on the floor.
Right.
So, yeah.
It seems like I remember that you guys too were part of the first Financial Peace University class that we had too, where we went through Dave Ramsey together.
We did.
You and Josh, your son?
Joshua and I did, and then it was so good I went ahead and I took it a second time because I just wanted to make sure it,
Awesome.
comprehended everything.
Right, and she's financially solvent and doing great things in the life and world these days, so thanks for doing that. Tell us about Kathy. Tell us about you, where you're from and your family and all those kinds of things.
Well, we've been here in Gastonia for, I think it's been about 27 years.
Okay.
And actually, we're originally from Oak Ridge, Tennessee, which, not many people are aware of it, but that's where the bomb was made. In World
Oak Ridge
War II.
Military. Right.
Yeah.
There's a military academy too, isn't there?
No, I think that's
somewhere
north.
else,
Yeah.
right?
But
the atomic bomb was created.
Right. And, the Oak Ridge itself was actually built by the Army Corps of Engineers. So the streets are in alphabetical order, and it's very laid out, and you can find your way around. And a street doesn't, change 2 or 3 times, like Queens Road. I think there's who knows how many of them there are in Charlotte.
Right.
And anyway, so it's we've been here, and I was born and raised there. Graduated from Oak Ridge High School. Go Wildcats!
Yeah, there you
go. But as a child, though, here's secret thing, sort of. As a child, we came down to Gastonia to vacation.
Okay, to vacation. Yeah. So what was vacation in Gastonia like?
Yeah, well, the reason we came was because my grandmother, my mother's mother, lived here. And she was one of and I didn't know this until not too long ago. I was talking to my brother Don about it. In the 40s, what they did, the mills, after they were built and they were in the process of building and getting ready to go into production, they went up into the mountains up, around the other side of Bryson City, between Bryson City and Fontana, and they recruited people to come down here to work in the mills.
Okay.
And they apparently went up there because there was a lot of people, and it wasn't too long after the Depression and the war was starting and all that. Well, lo and behold, they went up there with buses and picked up people. So they came out with their suitcases and their clothes and got on the buses and came down here.
Wow.
And they assigned houses to them based on who they worked for, what company, and what their job was. So anyway, my grandmother, we came down here as a kid, so I know all about Tony's Ice Cream.
Yep.
I know all about Mary Jo's. It was in Dallas,
right?
The fabric place. RO's Barbecue, of course.
Right.
And then Lineberger's Fish Camp.
There we go.
Which is no longer
there, although there's something that's there now that's kind of taking its place, right?
But that was my grandmother's favorite fish camp.
Wow.
So
fish camps are kind of like a Gastonia thing too.
It is.
It was go to the fish camp on Friday nights or Saturday nights, and there's a big social event.
Yeah, but we'd come down here the last 2 weeks in August every year. And so while we were here, I had some uncles, a couple of uncles and cousins and that sort of thing that were here. But we'd do my back-to-school shopping.
Okay.
So we'd go to downtown Gastonia in that beautiful and classy Belk department store.
Yeah, there we go.
And, of course, went to Mary Jo's and got fabric, because everybody's mom sewed, and so she sewed a lot of things for me. And So, I'd go back to Tennessee with my imported goods from.
Wow, that's
So,
cool.
anyway, but yeah, and a little known fact, um, where the water tower is on I-85 at,
Yes.
is it Ozark Airline
Yes.
Avenue?
Hmm.
That actually was built in my uncle's backyard.
Okay.
And he lived in a mill house there. And so they were building it. And I remember coming down and watching them build it. And of course, the next year, he didn't live there any longer
Right.
because, the city had taken that over. But yeah.
Wow, that's interesting. I mean, what a great story to be able to tell, too, particularly given your involvement in the local community and the infrastructure of the community for so long. And so you made it your way here after what happened from Oak Ridge, growing up in Oak Ridge?
Right.
Although I remember that it's Oak Hill Military Academy, or Oak Hill
Yeah,
Academy is the
yeah,
place I was
I think
thinking
there's-
about. Anyway, got that mixed up.
But yeah, I had, with the economy the way it was, and with Oak Ridge, it's a government town, still is.
Mm-hmm.
Knoxville is pretty much a government community as well. And
Really?
I actually worked for TVA
Okay.
3 times.
The Tennessee Valley Authority.
Correct.
Okay.
And so there were 3 plants in Oak Ridge, and I worked at all 3 of them from time to time, and the government, the federal dollars were drying up, and they were cutting back, and there was no more nuclear development, very little bit of research and development going on. I actually worked for Boeing at one point in the R&D department there.
Okay.
Anyway, there were such vast downsizing in community that my entire network, including all of my managers, they were all displaced. Everybody was out of work. So I started looking. Well, and also I actually happened to, before we moved and everything, I had a Christian bookstore
Okay.
in Oak Ridge.
Really?
I found out Christians are pretty seasonal.
Okay. Yeah.
Christmas and Easter and Mother's Day.
That's about it. Okay.
So,
So the only time you really made money was Christmas, Easter, Mother's Day.
right.
Rest of the
So-
time we lost leader time.
Yeah. So it was, we closed it, ended up out of a job. And so then I started looking for greener pasture and moved down here
Wow. So you moved down here 27 years ago?
about 27, yeah.
So that would have been 1998?
Mhm.
And tell us about your family.
Okay. I have 2 kids, Joshua and Jana. They're both married and they both have kids, which grandkids are the best.
Yep. Feed them and send them home
Yeah.
after you give them sugar.
Yeah. Sugar them up.
That's right.
But yeah, and they all live pretty local, so we get together on Sundays for after church, and we'll have Sunday lunch. And
Which I understand is legendary in your house.
well,
So what's some of your favorite things to cook on Sunday lunch?
I do spaghetti. I do a mean spaghetti sauce,
Okay.
from scratch. None of this stuff out of a jar.
Okay.
Meatloaf.
Okay.
I do a pretty mean meatloaf as well.
Fantastic.
And and of course, if you're wanting any good collard greens, I got the market cornered on how to cook collard greens.
All right.
So,
Fantastic.
yeah.
I need to figure that out.
Yeah.
I think I need to show up at your house one day at Sunday lunch.
Anytime. The door's open.
That's awesome. Yeah, I've heard really good things from Josh and from Jenna about that Sunday lunchtime. And that's kind of a cool, not just a throwback, but it's something you have to do intentionally, right? You
Well,
kind of plan to do that for one another.
It's actually, it's on purpose, because I just want my kids to remain close and their families and, cousins, for them to kind of grow up together. And because that's kind of a dying pastime these days, unfortunately.
It is with fast food.
Uh-huh.
You grab something with these 2 kids and go to your direction to this ball practice, and you get one child and you go in the other direction, and
Exactly.
that kind of stuff. So you're making everybody come sit down and have
Yeah,
lunch on
and
Sunday.
it's a good time to just kind of catch up and see how everybody's world is going, and we share things, and the kids play, and we watch football. Football season now, so we watch a little bit of that, and so yeah, it's just a good time of sharing and just catching up with each other and staying in touch. So
you're kind of like,
I enjoy it as much as they do.
Oh, sure,
I really do.
I understand. And you got to do all the cooking, which means you have to do all the work, right?
Yeah, for the most part. Fortunately, I do like to cook. So
it's fun for you. So it kind of reminds me of the kind of the Blue Bloods moment around the table. Do you ever watch Blue Bloods with Tom Selleck? And every Sunday they have dinner together and they're sitting around talking.
Sunday supper.
There are people that enjoy that. I know I did as a child. I remember sitting at grandparents' tables and that kind of stuff, and in our family for a while, sitting around the table, and there's just something about catching up that way.
Well, since I grew up in Oak Ridge, and my parents, both of their families were here in North Carolina, and us in Tennessee. It was just us. It was my parents and my two brothers, and and that was it. And of course, we got together after church on Sunday. We had our fried chicken and whatever, and then we'd take our Sunday naps, and then go to church Sunday night for training union. Yeah. So grew up Baptist. So
which church did you go to as a child?
Robertsville Baptist Church.
Okay.
Yeah.
Which is where?
It's in Oak Ridge, Tennessee.
Oh, it's in Oak Ridge. Okay.
Yeah.
How about here?
Actually, believe it or not, my grandmother went to it's off behind North New Hope. There's an old church. It's up around Ozark, somewhere over in there.
Oh, I know you're talking about. Actually, I think right now it's right there at the exit on Ozark, Flint Groves.
Flint Groves Baptist Church.
Yeah, absolutely.
That was it. And I remember going there.
Great church.
A number of times. Both my uncles were in the choir. One of them was a deacon. And, so yeah, that's where we went.
That's cool.
To church down here.
That's cool. So I don't know if you know this or not, but we have an organization called the Groves Counseling Center that their executive pastor, Jeff Watts, started. Shout out to Jeff Watts and Flint Groves Baptist Church and everybody out there. But we refer a lot of people there for counseling when people need counseling because we trust Jeff and his staff to help that.
Excellent.
Happen. It's a good place.
Wonderful.
Yeah. So make that connection. So tell us about Josh and Jana and all that kind of stuff. And did they go to high school here and middle? Those kinds of things?
They both actually graduated. They went to, were in Ashbrook. We moved down here. Jana was just wrapping up. I think she went to Holbrook for 1 year and then went on to Ashbrook.
Okay.
And so they're Green Wave graduates. And so, And then they both pretty much stayed around in this neck of the woods for the most part, Josh was in Mount Holly, and Jana, they were in Charlotte in Mecklenburg County. Mm-hmm. They escaped a couple of years ago and came back.
They got back. They got out of there.
Yeah, they came back to Gaston County, and they're settled in here now.
So you're highly educated, and you've worked in the banking industry, correct?
I actually retired from Wells Fargo in corporate real estate. Mm-hmm. I was a senior construction project manager. Okay. So yeah, I did the stuff, and actually the last job I was in, we supported the data centers, everything like making sure your ATM was working and the phones were working, and that sort of thing. So
these days you have to go in a chat room or something like to get that work, right? Now you were right there, customer service.
Well, actually, it was the equipment that we supported, all the power equipment and all that. So we were the back of the back room.
Fantastic.
So all the heavy equipment that supported that.
So you're figuring out what the problem was with the equipment.
I didn't do that. I just supplied the equipment, and let the tech people do their thing. So
you also did, if I remember correctly, like a master's degree paper on a certain subject. Remind me about that.
Yeah, I did. I got my bachelor's. Okay, let me tell you a quick story about how I ended up getting my bachelor's.
Okay.
After all the layoffs and everything in Tennessee and coming down here, and I was pretty close to having my bachelor's when I moved here, but before we moved here. But, being a single parent and, working full time and all that, and, with kids, they were younger kids and all, there just wasn't
No
time for
time.
school. There wasn't time, energy, or the money to
Right.
go back to school. So moved down here and I got a job, was in it for about a year, got displaced, and went to work for one of the banks as a contractor. Worked there for a couple of years, but I found out that they were reluctant to hire me at the time because I did not have a bachelor's degree. So anyway, I knew I had the ability and the capability because that's what I did in Tennessee and working for, the federal government. Anyway, so I got laid off one day, totally out of the blue. There was several of us that was displaced. And on the way home, I was in shock almost. On the way home, I was thinking about, okay, what's my next steps? So I was driving down the interstate and I saw a billboard for Belmont Abbey. I pulled off the interstate on my way before I even came home. Went over to Belmont Abbey and enrolled in the adult degree program to finish up my bachelor's.
That's awesome.
So that was like on Thursday. I started school on Monday.
How about that? So you didn't let any grass grow under your feet?
Well, no, I was not gonna allow anybody to have an opportunity not to hire me again.
Well, that's cool.
So, yeah.
Well, so your kids, I would say this because I know both of them, and they're not kids; they're both adults now. Is that they're definitely go-getters. They're people that get things accomplished.
They are.
So they're like their mama, right?
I think they got that from me.
Good. Good deal. Remind me about the advanced paper you did about something. We were talking about that lately.
Okay, so
It was about
I
financial.
got the bachelor's and everything and finished that up. Anyway, while I was working and actually managed, after I got displaced from the one bank, I went to work and I managed BB&T Center,
Okay.
which is downtown Charlotte, 22-story high-rise. Anyway, which is not owned by BB&T.
Okay.
It was actually owned by a family
Okay.
in Charlotte, and the owner, the son, his office was right next door to mine.
Wow.
He came in every day. And we had everything in house: security, janitorial, maintenance. Everything was in house. So anyway, it was a job. It was a great job. I learned a lot, and finished up my bachelor's, and then. The building was getting ready to go on the market to be sold. So I started practicing to interview for a job, and because I'd been in that job for about 5 years, and it'd been a while. So I practiced, and next thing you know, I was shocked. I got a job offer extended to me it was actually Wachovia at the time.
Okay.
So I left before the building sold. It sold real quick after that. And so after I went to work for Wachovia, I was there, I don't know, maybe just a few months, and I realized they had a program they would pay for my school.
Oh, wow.
So I thought, okay, now's my opportunity. Let's do something about this. So I enrolled in Montreat in their adult program,
Right.
and to get my master's in management and leadership.
Awesome.
So the class that we did at the end, it was the capstone class, was you had to, combine everything. And in that program, we did everything from accounting to, goal setting, and we did the whole 9 yards. And so what I did for my capstone presentation, my thesis, I did it on the subject of, does your personal budget impact the global economy? And I based it on that theory of the butterfly effect. So, butterfly will flap its wings in Brazil, and next thing you know, it's created a tidal wave in,
Right.
Antarctica or
Right.
wherever. So I started looking into it, and that was about the time when I did the Dave Ramsey class, the first one. And I thought, this just makes sense. It just seemed like things were coming together. So I had my own little butterfly effect thing going.
And you were interested in that too, from
Yes.
multiple angles.
Yeah. I actually, at Belmont Abbey, if I had done 2 more classes, I would have had a double major in economics and business, but I just wanted to get out.
Understand.
Anyway, I almost regret not doing that. But anyway, so I did the study. It included a survey. I interviewed all kinds of people. I don't know if you recall, I interviewed you.
Yes, I remember that.
And I interviewed about 25 people just to see how they manage their money and how they direct it, that's Dave Ramsey.
Right.
You direct your money. You don't just
Tell your money where it's going to go.
Yeah.
That's right.
So I ended up, long story short, I came to the conclusion that, yes, your personal budget does impact the global economy because if each individual is already in debt, they're already extended, it's putting pressure on, well, look at where we are right now with the home market and, one little tipping point, like at that particular time, I think the tipping point was all of a sudden gas prices shot up. And then next thing you know, people were getting their homes repossessed. And we're not, in that shape right now. Right. But back then, it was a real struggle. The economy was really on the verge of collapse. And in my way of thinking then, and especially after doing the survey and talking to different people, which I did talk to 2 state representatives.
Okay.
And one of them, I asked him the same question that I was asking everybody: Does your personal budget affect the global economy? He said no, it did not.
Okay.
And so I talked to him at some length about it. And I had a series of questions to ask, did he tithe? Did he, just a number of things like that. And I was stunned at how many people, it was funny, the people that you would expect
to know that
your personal budget does affect
right.
how the world goes around.
Right.
That you would expect them to know it. They didn't, or at least they didn't make the connection.
Wow.
Or at least to me,
sure.
They didn't. And anyway, so that was really an eye-opening exercise, and made a pretty good grade.
Awesome. So the fact that you've taken so much time thoughtfully to be educated and to pursue things that you're interested in, you recently have taken a big step. And one of the things we always like to ask is, how has our church helped you take your next step on your journey with Christ? And you heard a call from God and you kind of responded to it. Tell us about that.
I did. It was back in the summer. I think it was in July. Matter of fact, I know it was July. And I was, toying around with the idea of entering into public service. And when I discussed it, I happened to, discuss it with my kids. And then and I was still struggling on whether or not to take that step forward. And in church on Sunday, your series at the time, you were talking about relationships and, how to build good relationships and all. And the topic was that particular Sunday, if you're having struggles or issues or whatever, you don't go beating each other up and you don't, keep striving with each other. Your first response should always be, how can I help? And it just hit me between the eyes, and I was like, okay, God, I hear you. So I ended up determining that day that I would run for city council.
Awesome.
For Gastonia.
Fantastic.
Yeah, in my ward.
And which ward are you in?
I'm in Ward 2.
Okay.
So,
and so you're now a politician.
Well,
or one in waiting.
Yeah.
Or whatever.
Yeah. Somebody asked me yesterday, so are you a realtor or a politician? And I had to say, oh, I guess I'm a politician.
Yeah. How about that?
So,
well, congratulations.
thank you.
Tell some of the things that you care about that relates to, because I think a lot of people try to say your faith should be separated from your politics, but what are some of the issues that you care about that you hope to help to improve because you're a city council person if you're elected?
One of the biggest things that I see, and it goes back to, my master's thesis about the economy and about finances and everything. And one of my first questions is, how are we as a city spending our money?
Mm-hmm.
Is it smart?
Mm-hmm.
Are we getting a return on investment?
Mm-hmm.
Are we taking care of the people? I mean, because it's taxpayer dollars. It's
right.
people. It's families.
Right.
It's their money that's
mm-hmm.
operating the city. So in my mind, I take that very personally,
mm-hmm.
that you're impacting the dinner table.
Right. So the kind of things that we decide as a city to spend money on in taxes and those kinds of things have a direct and indirect effect on making the quality of our lives better.
Exactly.
Excellent. Wow, that's really cool. So you've gotten into printing signs and doing all those kinds of things and getting out there?
I've written checks for that.
Oh, yeah.
Got my T-shirts.
Fantastic. Fantastic.
And my little palm cards, and I've started over the last couple of weeks door knocking.
Okay.
So, I've met a whole bunch of just some great people. I really have.
Awesome.
And I almost feel like, we should get together and have coffee, with some of our neighbors more often, because I've been really pleasantly surprised. I've had very few people, even with the Ring doorbell business,
mm-hmm.
People come to the door.
Okay.
And so we've had very few doors slammed in the face.
Fantastic.
Had some really great conversations with people.
That's awesome. And you live in kind of the salt of the earth kind of neighborhoods in Gastonia, rather. Of course, everybody's the salt of the earth if you're a Christ follower. Mm-hmm. But, people that are hardworking and that are middle class, upper middle class, those kinds of people, that's what I mean, the salt of the earth.
Well, and it was funny. I've been door knocking a lot over off North New Hope
mm-hmm.
in the Flint Groves. And it's funny, about half of the people, I think, go to Flint Groves Baptist Church.
Oh, yeah, right.
And
that's a great thing. Shout out Flint Grove.
Anyway, I would, it's so funny. It's like, I feel like I need to go to a Wednesday night service and
mm-hmm.
with them. But, they're just good people. Remind me of the folks I grew up with, in our neighborhood. It's a real tight community up there.
Excellent. Absolutely true. So you point out a lot of things. A lot of people that have come and they're new to this area don't understand that kind of the economy was built in the way you talked about. The mountain people, mm-hmm. People that some might call rednecks or mountain people years ago, they came down and they started the mill industry. They were the workers of the mill industry. Right. And each town was kind of like its own little fiefdom. Mm-hmm. Like they had sports teams and Ranlow would play McAdenville and this mill would play that mill and that kind of stuff. But I've just really always appreciated what's happened in our county because people that came here and started this place were very hardworking and they were very diligent and they got their jobs done, and it's just a great place to live.
Well, and like I said, a whole lot of the people that I've met so far, they are because of the mill. Mm-hmm. Mills and everything that, they may not have come down because of the mills, but their parents did. Mm-hmm. And one lady I met the other day, it was just real interesting. Her husband, who he came from Panther Creek. I said, I was talking to her. I said, well, my family's from up in the mountains. And she said, well, really, what part? And I told her, I said, well, the other side of Bryson City, mm-hmm. between Bryson City and Fontana. Mm-hmm. My dad was from Panther Creek. My mother was from Stucoa. Okay. And she looked at me and grinned. She said, you mean Painter Creek? And I said, yep, Painter Creek.
Okay. Because that's the way they say it in the mountains.
That's the way they said it. So they had their own dialect, their own habits, their own traditions. And, and it was just, I gave her a hug before I left. I was connected with her.
Absolutely true. There's just so much to be valued about the hardworking Americans that made it possible for us to get where we are, even all the way back to the Battle of Kings Mountain.
Right.
which is a pivotal battle in the Revolutionary War. If you drive through the Battle of Kings Mountain, kind of the territory in the park, there's a sign up there where it says, Thomas Jefferson said that the Battle of Kings Mountain was the most important battle in the Revolutionary War, which is really huge. And essentially, different people came from over the mountain gang came, and various people that were closer, and that they met the British and fought them there and won. And it was kind of one of the few victories we had in the South. But they were very much the same kind of people that were hard scrabble, worked hard, played hard.
Irish, Scottish heritage.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. It's cool. So moving forward now, we're going to pray for you as you do this, because we know your heart is right and in the right place, and we're going to hope that you do well. And if you guys want to know more about Kathy, where would they go find out more about Kathy Boswell?
Well, I'm on social media, of course, so I do have a Kathy Boswell for.
And that's with a K, K-A-T-H.
The right way.
Right. Okay. All right.
Kathy Boswell, Gastonia
Okay.
City Council, Ward 2. And I do have a website, Boswell 4, the number 4,
Okay.
Gastonia.
Boswell for Gastonia. Fantastic. One, we know that if elected, you're going to make the world better, but because you've made it so much better with your family and your work and things that you've done. So I'm going to ask you some questions now.
Sure.
Particularly around food. So since you came to Gastonia to vacation as a child, and you've already told us kind of your favorite store to go to was Belk's. Where was Belk's when you would come down as a child? Where was it on Main Street? Well, I guess it was on Main Street.
Yeah, it was on Main Street.
Right.
It was, let's see, I'm trying to remember.
Because I don't know that.
You know where where you pay utility bills and all that, the administration building. And down from that, past the pavilion,
Okay.
there's the bank building. That's right there.
Right.
And it's just past that.
The
was
Lurie's
Belk.
building. Right.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Good to
Yeah.
know.
And then
it's not too
across the
far from
street-
Alchemy Co-working Space where Keanu has his space.
Yeah, and then across the street, of course, there was the drugstores. I think it was Cress at the time. I remember.
Or Smith Drugs? Smith Drugs or Crest Drugs?
There was Cress. That was more of like a McCroy's, a dime store.
Okay.
And there used to be, there was park benches all over downtown, and there was plantings, and, people hang out downtown.
Wow.
They really would. Of course, dress up. Everybody dress up and go downtown. And
Right.
so it was, if you look at the old movies from the 40s and the 50s and everything, that was downtown Gastonia.
Wow. It's a hip and
Very
place.
idyllic, and,
So when you came and you would go to Tony's Ice Cream, when you were a child, what was your favorite ice cream?
grape ice cream.
And how about now?
Oh, it's got to be butter pecan.
A butter pecan, all right. So she's got the grape in her background, but the butter pecan is there too. And they're really, that's good stuff.
It is.
There's a lot of good ice cream here and there, but to me, a lot of ice cream places are kind of like, let's take vanilla ice cream, let's throw some chocolate flavoring in it, let's put some stuff like that, and it's not like that.
No, it's not the same at all.
It's also cool to get to see. So Mr. Collette, is this like the third generation?
It's third generation.
Right. And he's always sitting there with his friends and they're talking, and I get the chance to say hello, and it's great to be able to see him.
Well, and to me, the first time I went in there after, being gone for so many years, it was stepping back in time.
Yeah.
Because they really haven't done
Changed a lot.
anything to the interior. They've got the same old booths.
Right.
From like when I was a child.
Right.
And the tile and the floor, and it was just such a blast from the past.
It's cool. And they're hardworking people. They have like breakfast to dinner every night of the week, practically. I mean, they're really hardworking people. They really are.
Okay,
How about
but true confession?
Okay.
I'm still not down with the liver mush.
Okay. All right. We're like that.
Yeah.
I always tell people that eat liver mush, it will bite you back.
Yeah.
Anyway, I don't know. But I'm like you. Give me some sausage. I don't know why that's better than liver mush, but for me the sausage just seems to be better. Well, so if you go to RO's Barbecue, what did you order as a child at RO's Barbecue, and what do you order now?
Well, barbecue was in Tennessee. It was kind of an unknown thing. We just didn't have it.
Was it more like hamburgers and hot dogs for the thing?
It was mainly, back then it was hamburgers and hot dogs. Because every community, every neighborhood pretty much had a drugstore with a built-in little, counter, for a drugstore, and you'd get your malts and all that. But So they always had hamburgers and everything. But coming down here, barbecue was a foreign dish for me, exotic, if you will.
Yeah.
But I'd get, barbecue with that magic slaw.
Yep. That hasn't changed in years.
Has not changed one.
So you get sliced or chopped?
Oh,
barbecue?
I'd get the chopped.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
Like chopped barbecue.
Yeah.
Good stuff. All right. So we've gone to RO's. We've gone to Tony's. We've gone to Belk's. Let me think. So when you go to Lineburger's Fish Fry, what did you get when you were a kid or when you were growing up and coming here on vacation?
For the most part, it was probably, my dad called it perch.
Okay. Right.
But the last time that I went, which was years ago, I came down and visited my brother, and I got the all-you-could-eat flounder.
Okay.
And my brother thought I was going to eat him out of house and home. Because it was like just out of high school, and I could eat.
Right. That's cool. I don't blame you on that. I used to get flounder too when it was
Did
there.
you?
And now Mayflower's there, and Mayflower's done a good job. It's a good restaurant.
Yeah.
Just not quite
Yeah.
the same. They've done some things to kind of imitate Lineburgers with some candy up front and those kinds of
Same
things.
thing, only different.
Same thing, only different. That's
Yeah.
right. Well, I think the first time I ever had devil crab was at Lineburgers too. I used to get the plate where you got some shrimp and some flounder and the devil crab.
A little bit of everything.
A little bit of everything. So do you still have family besides you that live in the area? That still live here?
My oldest brother
Okay, he's still here?
lives here. Yeah, he moved back, and then of course his family, which he's got a daughter and a son and grandkids, and he even now has great grandkids now. So
That's awesome.
yeah.
So you got some people down the
So
street.
yeah, I have a little bit of extended family. At Christmas we'll get together, and
Right.
birthdays periodically, and so yeah.
So are you mountains vacationers or beach vacationers? Or both?
I'm mountains.
Okay.
Now I won't say no to a beach trip.
Okay. Yeah. Are your kids the same way? Are they more?
The kids, I think, are mostly they're all
mountain
about the
people too?
beach.
Okay, they're beach people. I
Yeah,
gotcha.
yeah, and it's fun. I'm just can't get out in the sun much.
Yeah, I understand. We don't need to do that as much, do we?
Yeah.
So where's like one of the places you've been outside of our immediate area that, whether it's national or international, that's intriguing to you that you enjoyed?
Oh goodness. Well, when I was still working, the last trip that I took, I went to Ireland. Actually, I went to Ireland twice.
Well,
2 years back to back.
Okay.
So went for a couple of weeks at a time, and that was fun because it was it was kind of strange because I'd see these people, particularly older women, and I would think that looks like my aunt.
oh wow, yeah.
Yeah, because it was our heritage is
You shared that gene
English,
pool.
Irish,
Right.
and it was funny. And then of course both my kids are redheaded.
Right,
Everybody in Ireland's redheaded,
right.
or about half of everybody.
That's cool.
So
Have you ever done any of the Ancestry.com stuff and traced some of your resume? or-
actually, I'm working on
Ancestry?
it now.
Oh,
Actually, my brother had, as soon as he retired, he started working on it. So he's got it back to the 1500s.
Wow,
So,
awesome.
but I'm going back and looking at at some of because some of the thing, and actually I found this out. I worked with a lady that she was Latter-day Saints.
Okay.
And I didn't know this, but they have people within the church that they will help you work through your ancestry.
Right.
And I've been down to the church on Redbud several times and met with them and
Fantastic.
gone through. And they have the church. That church actually has their own. It's not Ancestry.com. It's My Family Heritage, I think.
Mm-hmm.
So it's kind of alongside. So, I've been going through that and
That's awesome.
double checking my big brother to make sure his
Make
work
sure
is
he's right. That's cool. That's really fascinating about people that are Mormons. One of the things, I have people in my family tree that are Latter-day Saints people as well too, or Mormons. So Mormons believe in what's called the baptism for the dead, and I'm oversimplifying this here, but they believe you can actually go back and through a process of going through the process, you can baptize family members into eternity, to your part of eternity. Mm-hmm. And so when I first did it, I actually did it in Salt Lake City at the Salt Lake City
Really?
Library. I was there for a convention, and I went in there, and as soon as I plugged in my grandfather's name and my dad's name, it was like went all the way back to 1705.
Wow.
So I didn't have to do anything but hit a button, basically.
Mm-hmm.
But my youngest daughter's done some research, and she did the whole, sending the DNA, spitting the tube, and all that kind of stuff. And she sent us back this profile, and here's all she said. He says, "Hey, y'all, we're white." Like, we're only Anglo.
Well,
practically.
at least she didn't say something like, "Well, our tree doesn't fork very much." Or
That's
something.
right. That's right. But it's fascinating to be
Yeah.
able to see all that. Isn't it?
Yeah. I mean, it is. And it was funny that my family heritage thing, and I was going back and I was doing somebody, I guess, as a part of their training, they go in and they pick family names because our tree was populated for the most part way back several generations. Well, I was comparing it to what my brother did, and I knew our ancestry back about 5 generations.
Wow.
And did a comparison, and they got it wrong, so I had to go in and correct.
Okay.
I felt good about that.
That's good. I'm sure they appreciated making sure that's right. Well, we're just so glad that you're part of our church and our community and making the community better and your family and that kind of stuff. Is there anything you'd want to leave with the people to know about you? Is there a word of wisdom or a favorite scripture or something like that you'd like for people to know?
I guess the biggest thing is going back to this campaign thing. I have actually stood by the scripture, 2 scriptures that I've carried with me for years. One is the steps of the righteous are ordered of the Lord. So as long as you every day look to God and say, okay, it's up to you to, order my steps and up to you to show me where I need to be, then we're in good shape. And the other thing is that, and this probably goes back to the working hard and sticking in everything, is, I was brought up with the concept, the scripture, it talks about do everything you do as unto the Lord. And so when you're on your job and you're working and it all of a sudden becomes a drudge, and you're thinking, why am I doing this? What's the benefit? What's my 5-year goal? If you look to God as your employer and the director of everything, and you work as you're working unto Him, literally, then it's going to be okay.
What a great thing to think about. Is you're not working for Wells Fargo.
That's right.
Or TVA. Instead, you're working for the Lord.
Yeah.
No matter what you're doing. That can also keep you from making stupid decisions or cut corners, right?
Absolutely.
It's really good.
Yeah.
I need to remember I work for the Lord too. I do. We do work for the Lord. Well, thank you so much for being with us today.
Well, thank you.
And
I
thanks for sharing this wisdom
opportunity.
and good blessings to you and prayers in your campaign, and work really hard and that kind of stuff, and get out there and vote for Kathy. Here's one good thing that I'm going to put a little plug out here. Our church is sponsoring something next week along with the Mont Cross Chamber of Commerce on October the 10th. So we're recording this on October the 2nd. So 7 or 8 days from now, there's going to be a Meet the Candidates kind of barbecue at our church between 11 o'clock and 6 o'clock in the evening.
Right.
Mont Cross is sponsoring that, and you can buy tickets to that. As a matter of fact, if you're part of our church and you want to go, tickets are $25, but if you'd like to go, we'll try to make it possible for you to go and be a part of that too. But go meet Kathy and other people that are running for even her seat as well too. That's what's great about the American way, is you get a chance to be able to go see different people, different perspectives. And
I'm really expecting it to be a great event.
we're looking forward to it. Yeah. So come to that. It's going to be fun. And anything else as we close? Can I close in prayer?
Please.
Very good. Lord, thank you so much for Kathy, and thank you for bringing her down as a child on vacation to Gaston County, and thank you for all the memories she shared with us today. But also, Lord, thank you for the woman she's become and the mother and the grandmother she's become. And I ask, God, that you bless their family and protect them. Also, as she's in this campaign season, I pray that you give her energy and focus to focus on the priorities that are important to her and important to so many that are listening to her and are looking to her for leadership. Thank you for our American political process. But bless her as a person. Give her plenty of energy and give her rest and give her wisdom. We ask this in Jesus' name. Amen. Thanks so much for being with us.
Thank you.
And thank you for tuning in to episode number 54 of the Next Step podcast. And we'll see you next time.